Hey everybody, it's Lori with A Voice in the Dark on YouTube. Hey, um, boy, I, I I've been overwhelmed by the things going on in the world, and more so, um, not so much the bad things. I mean, they're there and they're ridiculous, and it's just chaos management. And it's all retarded, and but when I step away from that and I look at other things, there are so many beautiful, wonderful, great things happening out there in different countries, and we need to look at those. We need to decide, do we want to be herded like cattle? Do we want to be handled like we're a number? Or do we want to be alive and feel fully alive? And sometimes we don't feel fully alive if we've got it too easy. So maybe it is time to break away from tradition and the way we've had things set up for so long. Maybe other people are right. Maybe it is time that we start our own, communities. And maybe we start with our own community that we live in. Start providing our own food for our own district, for our own area. Or do we want to start one and really be with people that are more like-minded and have small, uh, batches of us here and there? I don't know. It's up to each of us which way we want to go. But democracy, without the republic added in, democracy is a beautiful thing. Is it always fair? Most of the time, unless we need money for a war. But there are times when there is fraud. People take advantage of shit all the time. It's not unusual for fraud to happen. But it's usually found pretty quick, and then they're busted, and they go to prison, Do we need tighter regulations? Oh, by far we do. But regulations, let me explain this to you. We've had to fight for every human right that we have now. And if we allow this to continue, we will lose them as if they never existed. And I don't know about you, but I want to honor my ancestors and fight until I'm out of breath. So you need to think of the same thing, because the earth is separating. There's going to be two different earths, and one will be for the advancement and the evolution of humans, and the other one will be the old one, the dark way, the backward way, and it'll be pretty ugly. And they want everybody, the powers that be here want everybody, in their mind, they think that there should be poverty and wealthy. That's it. Nothing in between. I mean nothing. Because they want to be able to compete with other countries around the world. Well, I say the other countries should take their people and raise them up like we did us here. But nobody did this for us. We did it. That's what they don't like. We fought for all these rights. And by God, I think we should keep them. And the United Nations has a responsibility for those rights. And they need to put their heads, in the oven and start reading those basic human rights, 30 of them. You signed it, you're going to be held by it. So is the United States. Look, this is how I see it. We are the most unique race of beings in the universe right now. There are multiple species from different planets and different things that are here. And they're actually living in a human form too. So what would it matter if we forget about all that. What would it matter if we just saw each other as human? We have souls. That's what makes us unique. Powerful souls. And that's all that's important, is our soul. However, it's also a very unique gift that if we started using it right, we could become so much more than what we are. And we could bring the world to peace in one generation if we would just meditate and get to know our true self, our soul, and our true godhood. I say godhood because we are aspects of God. We are sparks of consciousness of source, the source. Now, so that means we've got all the advantages within us. However, and the only reason we don't want to rule and we don't want to do this and that is because we came here to experience source. You know, everything. How did you come to be what you are, you know? And so we wanted to experience it, so that's how we came here. And I've got other videos that you can learn how we really came here, the golden light beams and all that. But the whole point is that they think we're weak because we're kind and compassionate, and they find that to be a weakness. They have found out, though, that we can be a little mean if we need to be. The thing is that we don't want to fight. None of us do. But they're trying to force us into a civil war here in the United States so they can bring in black ops, which are just superhumans, who are not human at all anymore. And declare martial law so they can split up the country and make us poor, and we have to do whatever they say. And I don't know about you, but I've gone a long time enjoying my freedom. I'll be damned if I'm giving it up. How about you? Yeah, that's what I thought. So this is a time for us to have unity, making room for everyone. All that shit, that propaganda crap, just blow it out the window. They've all used it forever. And I'm not saying the Democrats are any better. I'm just saying they were a little better, okay? At least they helped fight for the things that the people really wanted. And we got them. And I know that you're hurting. We all are. But it got 10 times worse when we got this joker in here. So I'm just saying, do you really want to live under a neo-Nazi-ism? Really? You haven't lived if you haven't experienced other races. And they aren't races, they're cultures. There's only one race, it's human. That's it. The rest of it's different cultures, different colors. Whoopee-doo. They're still people. And the people that have taken the worst hit in this country and around the world are the blacks. And yet they keep rising up. Not in a negative way. They keep rising up in a positive way. They're super intelligent. They fight for it because that's what they wanted. They wanted to rise up too. They wanted to show how equal they can be. Hell, some of them are 10 times better than most of us intellectually. So what in the hell is the problem with most of the people here? And any of you that have Native American in you, you shouldn't be in any way, shape, or form racist in any way, shape, or form. Because if anybody in this country had a right to be racist and hate the whites, hate us, is the Native Americans before anybody else. And for everyone out there, they used the white people here as slaves first. Then they brought the blacks. And then, because they had other jobs that they had us doing, but we were always treated as slaves in the beginning. So whites were slaves too. So, and we've had to fight forever to just hold on to our rights. And they treat women, this group treats women like they're secondhand trash. They're throwawayable. Is that how you want to be treated? Are you that lonely? Are you that miserable that you take one of these son of bitches as your husband? Who would tell you to shut the fuck up if you so much as even spoke of your own opinion? Give me a break. We didn't fight all this time to make our children go through shit like this. Anyway, I was going to have a really positive one, but this is the fire that's in me right now, so it's got to come out. And immigrants come in here illegally all the time, or their visas, become overdue or whatever. And it's taken care of. It always has been. They use this as a propaganda bullshit to focus your eyes on a bunch of bullshit. And I mean, it's bullshit. These immigrants were not the same as the men that he brought back from the January 6th that he pardoned out of prison and put in the goddamn ICE department. They're angry white men. They're angry because they just couldn't make it. That's why they're angry. But that's because they were never taught how to get a doctor and get a psychologist and find out what the fuck the problem is and get over it and get a good wife. You can't keep a good wife if you got an attitude like that. And that's all we want. We want families because we like it. And then we have friends, and then we have dinner parties, and then we go places, and we shop, and we vacation. We love all that, so we don't mind working for the man. But now the man's gotten greedy, and that's got to stop. Anyway, but it's going to take all of us to be united. I don't care if you're Muslim, Islam, Christian, whatever. It doesn't matter. LGBTQ and all that crap, all those, extra letter crap that you guys keep drumming up that us old people cannot keep up with. However, and all the new names, you guys, does every generation do this? Anyway, don't tell me because I never learn them all. But that's the other beauty about us. Each generation brings their own oomph to whatever it is, And, I remember the time my granddaughter said, "Oh, you're the bomb, Grandma," or my daughter did, my youngest one, and then my granddaughter said it again, and I was like, "Hey," and she goes, "No, it's a good thing. You're great. It means you're great." I went, "Okay." Oh, boy. Another new word, new term. But anyway, that's all right, because I like the word fuck. It goes with anything. But, I'm supposed to be watching my language these days, but, you get old, you don't care. But, anyway, I guess what I was wanting to say is there any way we can get along? And I think the only way you're going to get along is if you get to know each other. Maybe you ought to do block parties so you can get to know your neighbors. Yes, poverty, unfortunately, breeds criminals because poverty does that. If they don't have a good man and wife at home that are getting along, that can help show them how to be intelligent and how to read and learn and study and become something more. And when there's no jobs, people get violent. But they get really violent when there's no food and there's no way to get to it. We don't want to go there at all. They keep saying, "Oh, this is something you got to go through," and they've got that Bible beating shit going at you. "Oh, this is the way it's supposed to be." I said, "No, it's not." The golden years were for the humans, for the Christians, or all people. Because Jesus wasn't a Christian. God isn't a Christian, okay? God is God. And Jesus was of God, just like we are. So it's not a religion. It's a beingness. It's a presence. It's what we are. And it comes in all colors. Jesus was Arab. So but you're going to hate Arabs, you know? Not all Arabs are bad. Not all white people are bad. Not all black people are bad. Not all Muslims are bad. Not all Islamics are bad. Anytime you preach hate, which a lot of Christian churches do in their private meetings, not all Christians, I'm just saying the right-winged ones, the ones that are really off the scales, that believe in child marriage and, and all that. They're just like the Islamic attitude, actually, which is really weird. Even though they're telling you to hate the Islams, that's what they like being like. There's a lot to learn here, but it's a dizzying process. I get it. Because there's so much going on at once and nobody wants to hold on to any of it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that you have to, whether you like it or not, you have to see through this charade that's going on. And you got to get busy deciding how you want to live. And if you could do anything, find a dream of the future that you want to pull in that is wholesome, healthy, and positive for the greater good of all, and hold that thought, hold that dream every day for 3 to 7 seconds. That's all it takes. Make it 40 seconds, 60 seconds, just 1 minute. Every day, every morning, every night if you can. You can help with that. Hold the love and light and faith that it'll be all right. But you got to have an idea what you want. See, they use us so easily because we don't have those visions. We aren't all dreamers. There's very few of us that are dreamers. But you got to be now to hold the line for the greater good of all, not just a handful. We'd be miserable being piss poor. We just wouldn't be very happy. Nobody is. So let's stand up for what's right. And that is seeing beyond our own pain and what's going to help us. That's why you voted for him. You voted for him because you just wanted somebody to ease your pain. Well, next time, write an email to your senator and your congressman and your governor. Let them know. You've got the power in your voice and action. You don't have to go stand on it and hold a sign somewhere. But you can write an email or a letter, and you can get it to them. But you have to be involved now. There's no choice at this point because we've got an insane situation. And then there's the New World Order. So I don't trust the Democrats right now either because the New World Order wants the same similar things that this does. And I don't think any of us want it. You want to live in a 15-minute city and live in one of those little apartments they're going to give us that are like paper, and then the cheapest shit you can find, because they're going to furnish all of it, and it's the cheapest shit you've ever seen. It's not a real sofa. It's a, what do you call those things? They fold out to a bed, but they're on metal. It's just a thing on metal, and they're real uncomfortable. Adults can't sleep on them. Anyway, it's that kind of shit. Chintzy, crappy, nothing nice. And we won't be able to buy anything nice. Oh, everything around us will look nice because they want it to look really good. And, they're trying to show off their power and their money. But our living conditions will suck. And they'll pay us. But we won't have much choice in how we spend it. And it'll all go right back to them. They're going to tell us what we can wear, what we can buy, and blah, 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 how much it's going to cost. They're crazy, but that's what they want to do. Anyway, I love you, and remember, we have to be united as people. Screw the colors, screw the churches and all that crap. This is about being a human being with a great soul and the ability to tap into the great source energy, the source mind, and we can do anything. Now we have to decide what we want to do, and we got to do it quick. Love you. Lori out.